Episode 7, Your Mind. Archibald MacLeish, he said, to quote, "The only thing about a man that is a man is his mind. Everything else you can find in a pig or a horse." What makes us unique as human beings is that we have the ability to think, to reason. We possess the ability to think critically about our goals and plan versus other species or animal kingdom. I remember this story from the book Acres of Diamonds. And it tells about this guy who went on a journey. And on his way, being driven or guided on this journey into a foreign country, there was this guide who kept talking to him and telling stories. And he got somewhat disturbed or agitated, I should say, that this guy just kept talking and telling these stories. And the guy, he just simply wanted to relax and enjoy the journey. And the guide noticed that he got perplexed and agitated with him. So he started another story, and he said, "This story I saved for my particular friends." And he went on to tell him about this man who went and he was wealthy, and he owned a farm, and he owned a lot of acres on his farm. And this old priest came to him one day, and he said that he was going to tell him how God made the earth. And he talked about how God stuck his finger into a cloud and began to spin it. And from that spin, the mountains were cast up, and all of these diamonds and gold throughout the universe. And he was contented before hearing this story. And then that night, when he was asleep, or he tried to sleep, he couldn't sleep at all. He just tossed and turned. And he woke up early in the morning, and he found that priest who told him about the story. And he said, "Where can I find diamonds?" And he said, "You can find diamonds in a certain spot where there's white sand and streams." So he sold his acreage and his farmland, and he set out on a journey to find diamonds. And he went through various parts of the world, and he still did not find diamonds until he found himself old, broken, sickened, and he had no more money. And he stood, the story went, he stood on the shore, and he jumped in and he drowned himself. And sometime later, the old priest came to visit the person who bought his farmland. And before then, the priest, well, not the priest, but the man who bought the farmland, he was watering his camel. And as he was watering his camel, he saw a stone, a black stone, and it had a slight sparkle to it. So he picked it up and he took it into the house, and he placed it on the mantle above the fireplace. And upon the priest visiting him that day, he said, "Oh, is Ali Hafid," who was the man's name who previously owned the farmland. He said, "Has he returned?" Because he saw the spark of that stone, and he realized that it was diamond. So he's like, "Nah, he hadn't returned." And he said that's not a diamond. And the priest said, "Yes, I know a diamond when I see one." So they rushed off into where this man found the diamond on his land, and they began to dig with their hands, and more precious stones came up. And they realized that the whole place was filled with diamonds. So this guy went on a journey to find something that was already in his possession. You may have currently in your mind acres of diamonds, but because of what someone has said to you, made you believe that you need to go elsewhere and begin searching outside of yourself. Everything you need is in your life, but you simply have to recognize that it's there. Where you are right now, there are opportunities if you open your mind and begin to critically think about the situation you're in, how to better what you're doing currently. You can do that right now, and you do not have to wait on anyone. You can begin this present moment. One thing that could be helpful and will be helpful, if you took aside 1 hour each day in quietness and just began to write thoughts that come to your mind pertaining your goal, your desire. I know you say that you may not have an hour during the day, but you can find an hour during the day. You can't afford to not have an hour during the day for yourself. Instead of being on autopilot, as we find ourselves on constantly, unless we become consciously aware, we continue the same cycle of the things that we do not want. We can change that by thinking critically and setting aside time to do just that. Think. What do you really want? You must fixate your mind on what you really want. Put a picture in your mind constantly as your guide. Napoleon Hill said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve." What you can think about, you can bring about. But you have to do this for yourself. You don't need to know how to get to your destination in the beginning. You only need to know where you want to be. And once you've decided, you must continue to experience it in your mind and in your total being. Feel it, experience it as if it's happening right now. Not outside of you, but right now, presently, you are that which you desire to be. Whatever it is, you decide, you choose. You can have anything that you want. It can be simplistic in your mind, or it could be something that you think that is so great and out there. But you can have it if you continually place it in your mind's eye before you, constantly having it, meditating upon it each and every day, because we're meditating and contemplating something every day of our lives, but usually it's something that we don't want, what we fear, or what we do not want to experience. Throughout the process of your thinking, imagining, and feeling yourself to be presently in your desired goal, what you're doing, you're literally imprinting your subconscious mind. And you remember that your subconscious mind is impulsive and is able to bring about the desire that you have, your goal. Your subconscious mind is the main catalyst that you must imprint. If you are able to imprint your subconscious mind, it will undoubtedly bring about your desire. And it happens just like that because it's impulsive. It doesn't think. It just reacts and bring about that dominant thought. Ernest Holmes said, life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks most. Your life is a reflection of the inner you, the inner being that you are. And if you don't like what you see in your life, you don't have to get down on yourself. You can simply choose to focus your mind on what you truly want. And remember that you're not a victim. You must be valiant in your fight for your mind and to imprint your subconscious mind. Holding a thought in your mind, constantly conditioning yourself each and every day will strengthen that. You can strengthen your focus by constantly doing it. Just as if any of you have been involved in athletics, you know, practicing over and over again, it brings about perfection to a degree. It brings about within you how to react to certain situations, and you don't even think because you have conditioned yourself to running or doing whatever according to whatever sport, and you react on the fly. Condition yourself to increase your focus. Your focus is very important to develop, and it can be developed. No matter if you have a wandering mind, you can strengthen that by focusing each and every day, spending time to focus. Just simply focus. Get in a quiet space. Perhaps you don't have a quiet space within your house because of kids or various other things. Go somewhere, drive somewhere, walk somewhere where there's no one. Go to the beach. Go wherever you need to go. Empty parking lot if it has to be outside of your house. But you have to find and carve out that place. Perhaps it's a library. You can go to a library and reserve a room in the library so you can be in silence, so you can begin to develop your mind control, develop focusing. James Allen, he said, mind is the master power that molds and makes, and we are mind, and evermore we take the tool of thought and shaping what we will bring forth 1,000 joys and 1,000 ills. We think in secret and it comes to pass. Environment is but our looking glass. We're simply seeing in our lives what we're thinking. What we think about, we simply bring about. Constantly, not a one-time thinking, but a continuation of thinking, a continuation of pondering. Over and over again. Meditation, repetition. You can change your life anytime you decide to do so. You don't need to wait on a friend. You don't need to wait for the right, we believe is the right circumstances. You can do it now. Your mind is one of the most powerful tools that you have. So begin using it for good today and continually each and every day. So arise within your inner being and start the process right now of beginning your new mind creation today. I would like to thank you for listening to the New Mind Creator podcast with your host, Maurice. This podcast has been sponsored by Abundant Sports. Subscribe to my podcast and leave a review on iTunes. Head over to www.mauriceflornoy.com to find out more about my services and receive more motivation and insight to help create your new mind.